Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Susan and today we are going to be making this Ankara outfit. It's actually a peplum outfit, so we are going to be using Ankara to recreate this beautiful dress. So if this sounds like what you like to learn, stay on the line while we get started. So we are going to be cutting the front and the back together. So I've already gone ahead to place the front and the back together. You can cut the fabric that is going to be enough for you. So this actually is enough for me plus allowances. So we are going to take our shoulder measurement divided by 2, and I'm just going to add half inch for sewing allowance. And also, we're actually doing this directly, so I'm going to be adding all my allowances here on this fabric. So from there I'll come down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope because our shoulders are not straight. So I'll just come down by 1 inch. I take my neck width, which is going to be 4. I'm not going to add allowance there, so by the time I take half inch to turn the neck is going to be like 4.5. So this is 4 I took, so I'm also going to come down by 4 for the front neck depth, 4 inches also for the front neck depth, and I'm going to use my curve ruler to actually connect the points together. That is it. So from there I'm just going to connect from that neck. I'm going to connect down to my 1 inch that I slope. You guys notice that I have an extra fabric at the front. That is for the back pattern. I actually have an extra fabric because I want to be folding it. I want it to fall, but this is actually not compulsory, but you can try it and you will like the outcome. It's optional, guys. So I took for the neck depth for the back, I actually took 1.5. So I'm just going to connect it. So that's it. So we are done with the neck. So right now we are going to take our shoulder measurement because we want to get our armhole. So I'm just making sure that I have that 8 there. So for you to get your armhole, divide your bust circumference by 6, and whatever you have, you add 1.5 to it, or you can use your shoulder measurement divided by 2. So what I had after I was done dividing, I had 8. So exactly 8 is what I put there, and from there I'm just going to confirm if I have 8. These are our shoulders, so we are going to make sure you have 8 at all points. And after I was done connecting it, I have to also confirm when I was done. I will make sure I have 8. I'm also going to go ahead now to mark that straight line so we can curve. So after that I'm going to come in here by from the midpoint. I'm going to come in by 4 inches. That's I'm going to come in, I'll divide it by 2. Whatever I have, I come in there by half an inch, and from there I'm going to go ahead to take our bust circumference divided by 4. Whatever I have, I'm going to put it there. Bust circumference divided by 4, I'm going to put it there, and from there I'm going to connect the half inch. I'm just going to connect it this way to give me my armhole. So guys, that's the armhole for the front. So we are going to go ahead now to take our measurements. So from the top, you're not taking your measurement from your 1 inch slope, it's from the top. So from the top I'll take a bust point, and from there I'll take our under bust measurement. I'll also take our waist measurement, and I'll just take our hip. From our waist to our hip is 9, so I'll just take it as a guideline, but I don't really need the hip, so I'm just taking it. So I'll go ahead now to draw the lines together. I'll go ahead now to draw our lines together. Under bust is actually 15 and a half, so I'm going to go ahead now to draw them together so we can take our circumference measurement. So when I was done, I'm just going to go ahead now to take a bust measurement divided by 4, and I'm going to add half inch for ease because there is no breast cup. It's going to be free on the body. So after I added 1 inch as for ease, I'm also going to add 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. You can add 1 inches, but I just want to be on the safer side because this measurement I'm using is actually an old measurement, so I don't know, so that's why I added 1.5. So from there I'm just going to connect from the bust. I'm going to connect to the underbust, and from there I'm just going to connect with a straight line to the shoulder, and that is it, guys. So I'm trying to add my allowances right now. So that is extra 2.5 that I added. Remember, one for ease and then 1.05 for sewing allowance. So that is it. I'm just going to go ahead now to connect. So the first line we have is our actual measurement, and the second one is our allowances and our ease. So from there I'm just going to go ahead now to shift it up because I want to work on the down. So at the down part I'm going to use our hip measurement because it's going to be a form of a line. So I'm going to use our hip measurement actually. So our hip divided by 4 is what I'm going to use at the down part, and from there I'm just going to go ahead now to also add my allowances at that point. Guys, the full length of this dress is actually 45, so I actually used 38 for the up, for the half length. So the peplum is going to be about 8 inches, so that's going to complete it. So that is it. So from there I'm just going to connect. You can see I connected it from the underbust down to the aim line. So that's it. So after that I'm just going to go in by my zipper. So I'm going to take 2 inches for my zipper. So I'll make sure I have 2 inches from the top to the bottom, and that's exactly what I did. And I'm going to use ruler to make that straight line. So when I was done at the waist, because I don't want it to bulge, I'm going to come in by half an inch. I'm going to come in by half an inch, and I'm just going to go ahead now to connect to the bust point region. I'm just going to connect. You can see, then I connect it back to the hip because from my waist to our hip is not straight, so there has to be some kind of coffee there and also some kind of shaping. So I just go ahead now to cut, guys. So go ahead to cut so we can start. So I also cut the neck for the front, and I'll cut the armhole for the front now because I already cut the armhole for the back. So guys, this is what I was saying, that I'm going to go ahead now to, I want it to fall, so I'm going to minus from my front pattern. I'm going to minus 1 inch, then I'm going to use the back to replace it. That's because some people, when you see them wear clothes, you see the clothes will be dragging back and all of that, but if you do this you'll be avoiding that. So I'm going to do it. So I'll just do it. I'll just cut, and I'm going to cut this. I'm just going to cut it off. So you know what we remove is 1 inch, so I came up by that 1 inch, so what we have extra is 2. So it's just, there is no missing line, so it will correspond. That is it. So now I can go ahead now to cut my, neck for the back. So that is it. That's exactly what I did. So right now I want to work on the down part. So what I'm going to do now is that from my waist I'm going to come down by 1 inch. That's where I want the peplum to start. So I'm just going to, the allowances I added at the down, I'm just going to trim it so it will not be too much, because already I think what I need is 1 inch. So from the middle part I'm just going to curve this way. I'm just going to curve this way. So I've removed a lot out, so I'm just going to curve it this way. and we are going to cut it out. So we are going to cut it out. You can cut it more, can cut more depending on what you want actually. Yes, you can actually cut more. You know we had allowances to it. So I'm just going to turn it this way, and I'm going to go ahead now to shape it because I thought it didn't really give me that shape that is on the picture. So I'm going to also go ahead now to trim it. I think this is okay. You can go ahead to trim more. Depends on what you want. So I'm going to go ahead now to measure to know what I have. So what I have here is around 25. So we are going to use it to cut our peplum. So for you to cut your peplum, you're going to fold your fabric this way first, and you're going to also fold it another way. This is like a single flared. You're going to fold it again this way. That's going to be 4. So what I had is actually 25. So that's going to be 25 plus 25. That is going to be 50. So 50, I'm going to divide it by 2, by 4, sorry. I'm going to divide it by 4, and whatever I have is what I'm going to use at the upper part. But guys, you can see this is all the material I have left, so I'm going to manage it. That means I'm not going to have exactly using that 12 at the top. So you know there is splitting, so it will not be enough. I already tried and it gave me just 2 with this fabric. This is all the fabric I have. So now we are going to manage it, guys. We are going to use this particular fabric to bring out 3 steps. Yes, we're going to use it to bring out 3 steps. So what I actually need is the length should be 9 inches. That's 8 inches plus 1 inch for our allowance. So that's the length. As long as I have the length that is 9 inches, so the width we can always join it. So you can see I have 9 inches here. I have 9. This is the third one. So I have 9 inches here. So the second one is also 9 inches, and the third one is also 9 inches. This third one is actually enough for the front, but I'm going to be joining this other part for the back. But if you have your normal fabric, just cut 2. You don't need to join it, just cut 2 of this. Just use your, that's 12 at the top. You can see here I already have 12, and there are excesses there, which is going to be like the pleatings. We use it to pleat, you can see. So you can use actually like this if you have enough fabric, but because I don't have enough fabric, that's why I'm going to manage it. So you can see this one is not up to 10, so I'm going to cut the one at the front, and I'm going to join it together. So you can see this one is also 9 by length. It's also 9. All of them are 9 by length, but it's just the width that are not complete. So we are going to manage it because this is all we have to work with. So I just went ahead to cut. And this is me trying to measure to see the excesses I have, and this is it. So we'll be using that to pleat. So that's it. So I'm going to go ahead now to use this particular fabric to cut on a lining, because we actually need lining. So I've actually cut them out on a lining. This is it. I cut this one into pieces the way it is. The small one I actually cut 2 because I'm going to be joining on both sides. So that's it. I've also gone ahead to cut my lining for the fabric, and I've cut my facing. Facing is also optional, you can choose to, just so it's all right if you do. So we are going to go ahead now to turn the peplum. Look at it, we're going to turn it. I actually did that, and I use Amy gum while doing it. When I'm done, you see the effect of the Amy gum. After that, I just went ahead to stop stitch so the lining can go down and not coming out. So this is it, guys. You can see how it came out after I was done ironing it. You can see the effect of the lining because I didn't put paper spray, I didn't put anything, so that's how it is. So I'm going to go ahead now to place my facing this way, and I'm going to fold it. Just place it on top of the lining. It's just to cover that part. That's it. So after I was done, this is how it came. You can see. So if someone sees it, it will be like maybe you use the Ankara and all of that. So while I'm turning the neck, I'm going to use my Amy gum because I'm not going to stop stitch. So I'm going to use my Amy gum. This is it, guys. When I was done, This is the back pattern. So I'm going to turn the zip allowance. So I'm going to fold it this way, and I'm also going to stitch that way. After I was done, this is what I have. After I was done, this is what I have, guys. So I'm going to go ahead now to iron. I went ahead to join my shoulders together, the back shoulders and the front, the right side facing the right side. There are so many ways to do this. You can do this way. That's using the lining. You use the lining at the middle. You can see you just turn it over this way, and you use the lining to actually cover it this way. So one lining is going to be at the front, while the two is going to the two front is going to be inside, and you're just going to stitch it. So when I was done, this is what I have, guys. This is exactly what we have. So I'm going to go ahead now to iron it so it will be flat. You're going to go ahead and iron it. So guys, this is me trying to shape this dress. We're going to shape it lining to lining. It's going to be inner sewing. So this is our bust point and our shoulder, and the bust point, our under bust and our waistline. So that is it, guys. Please, if you've watched this video to this point, I'd like to beg you to please subscribe to this channel. Please give this video a thumbs up, turn on the notification button so you'll be notified anytime I post. Please like this video, it means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is me just dividing our bust by 2, and I just mark it, and I'm going to also mark and plus the ease. So from there I'm just going to connect it this way, also connect this way. You can see how it is, you can see how it came out. So I left it. Then let's work on our peplum again. So I've joined all the peplum together, so it's now one. I've joined everything together. So because I don't want the joining to be at the front, I'll go ahead now to cut here through, and this place I cut is going to be the zipper. So it's going to be on the zip side, that's at the back. So I'm going to go ahead now to also cover it back because we've actually cut it through. So I'm going to cut it back. So this is me notching the midpoint of my dress as the midpoint of the front, and also notch the midpoint of the peplum. You can see. So this peplum, we are going to also stitch it lining to lining and cloth to cloth. So this is me placing the front, the notch front and the notch peplum fabric to actually stitch them round. So I'm going to stitch them round. As I'm stitching round, I'm pleating it. You can use your pin to pin it down so it will be easy for you. So we are going to be adding some pleats. You can pin it down first because I actually pinned it down so I'll know the amount of pleats I'll be adding. So guys, when you get to this point at the waist where you have your, you can see where you have your seam here. So this is what you're going to do. When you get to that point, you're going to notch it. You can see the way I notched mine. You're going to notch it, and you're going to it to be flat there. So when you're stitching it, when you get to that particular point, you now bring it down this way. Your seams, you now put it inside, like drag it out. Then this one, you now place it this way. You know you've notched it, so it's going to be easy for you now. So I'll just stitch it with half an inch. So that is it. Just going to go ahead and stitch that place that way, making sure it's neat. Do not pleat that side except you want it to be very bulky. So this is it when I was done stitching it and I've pleated it. So I'm going to go ahead now to also do the same for the lining. You're going to turn it and do the same for the lining. Where you add the pleats for the main fabric, you also pleat it at the lining. So this is me when I was done. I'm just trying to turn it so you guys will see how it came out. This is how it is, guys. You can see. So I'm going to iron it very well. I'll iron it so you guys will see the final outcome. So this is the sleeve. I already gone ahead. This is a normal sleeve pattern, so I'll just place it on. So I'm just going to go ahead now to place it here, and you know there is a gathers, there is small gathers at the up. So I'm going to just come up by 2 inches. I'm just going to come up by 2 inches because the gathers they didn't really gather that way, so it's not really like puffy. So I'm just going to go up by that 2 inches, and this is a normal. You can see after I measured an armhole, it was 9. So all these ones are going to go for gathers. It was 9. So that is it. So I'm going to go ahead now to do this. So I'm just going to stress it and to make sure that I have enough over there. But at the down part, you're going to have it a normal measurement for the down part. So I'm going to go ahead now to cut, because I also cut the lining too. So this is it. So it's going to gather this way, just a little. So this is the lining. I'm going to go ahead now. I reduce the lining by ½ inch. Yes, so I'm going to go ahead now to turn it down. I'll just stitch. When I'm done stitching, I'm going to stop stitch, and when I was done, this is the outcome, guys. This is how it is. So we are going to go ahead now to take a round sleeve. A round sleeve is around 9. No, sorry, a round sleeve is around 15. So I'm just going to take that over there, and from there I'm just going to connect it this other way, and we are going to stitch this lining to lining. You get me? You're going to stitch it lining to lining. So this is how we are going to stitch it, cloth to cloth and lining to lining. When I was done, this is what we have, and I'm going to turn it over to other side. I also run a stitch on the upper part and I gather it. So this is what we have, guys. This is what we have. So I'm going to place it this way, front side facing front side on the armhole. So we are going to join from the armhole, we're going to join to the shoulder. So guys, this is when I was done. That's what we have, and I just turn it over, and this is what we have, guys. The length of this sleeve is actually 6. I use 6. Yes, so this is what we have, guys. I'm going to put it on the mannequin for you to see the outcome. This is the outcome, guys. This is it. So guys, this is where we come to the end of our tutorial. So today, please subscribe, like this video, and turn on the notification button so you'll be notified each time I post a new one. See you in my next one. Bye.